Hey, this is Avish Parashar, and I want to tell you about this new group coaching class that is starting on Monday, March 31st. This is going to be all about how you can be funny as a speaker. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to spend 5 weeks together. Every Monday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, I'm going to do a webinar-based class, so you can do it from the comfort of your own computer. Now, if you can't be in front of your computer at that time, don't worry. There's a phone number you can dial in on, and if you can't even do that, every webinar is going to be recorded, so that you can access it later to make sure you stay on top of it. What we're going to cover in those 5 weeks is as much content as I can possibly give you on how to be funny. We're going to talk about how you can access your natural creativity and humor. Same techniques I've been using to teach improvisers how to perform comedy and be funny for 20 years. Then we're going to go in depth into what I call the 5 primary strategies for adding humor to a presentation. We're going to talk about storytelling. That's the bread and butter for speakers. We're going to show you how you can find stories, how you can make them funny. Your stories don't even have to be funny. We'll talk about how you can take dry material or stories that are pretty good but don't have humor and add humor to them. We'll also talk about some of the mechanics and basics, so any story you tell will be better. Then we're going to get into nonverbal ideas. One is emotion. It's not necessarily what you say, it's how much energy and emotion you bring to it. You can take 2 speakers delivering the exact same lines, and because one does it with different emotion, you're going to get a totally different response. So we're going to go into how you can do that too. Then we'll talk about physicalization. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So by simply saying less and doing more with your body, your face, your hands, you can get laughs and humor and engagement you never thought possible. Again, same material, all you're doing is using more physicality to it. It's a really powerful and effective tool. Then we're going to get into jokes and stand-up. Now, this is a dangerous area for some because if you tell a joke and it bombs, you're kind of, the audience knows it. So we're going to talk about how do you construct a joke, but also how do you position it in your presentation so if it doesn't work, you can keep going. So this is going to be really good if you want to punch up and add humor and lines and things like that throughout. We're going to go really deep in how you can generate funny material and use it in a real safe way. Finally, we're going to talk about what I call humor aids. There are things you can do outside of what you write and deliver to add humor to your program, like using props or visuals or images and videos, things like that. We're going to go into a wide variety of them and give you lots of ideas. Now, this is not just content-based. These are going to happen 1 week at a time. At the end of every class, I call them classes because this is hands-on. At the end of every class, you're going to have a homework assignment where you're going to have to apply some of what you learned to some of your material. So not only will you learn the information, you're going to be forced to work through this class to make sure, because sometimes you just sign up for information, you never do anything with it. Here, we're going to make sure you are applying it and doing it. How we're going to check is I am setting up a private Facebook group just for this coaching class. So when I give you assignment, I'm going to ask you to post things on that Facebook group. You can post videos, you can post written material that I can review and the other members of the class can review. So it's going to be interactive. You can also hop on there and have a forum where you can ask questions, give and get feedback. It's a really powerful way of tapping into that group dynamic. Finally, you're probably going to have questions. At the end of the 5 weeks, the instruction piece of the course ends, but the support doesn't. Throughout the class, you will get unlimited email access to me. Beyond the Facebook group, if you have a question, shoot me an email. I'm going to give you 5 additional weeks of support after the last class where you can continue to email me and ask questions. That way, if you get a little behind and you have to watch recordings, or if you try to apply it as you're working on a presentation 3 weeks later, you're not on your own. You can reach out to me, I'll look at your material, I'll give you feedback, I will help you out. We're also going to have 2 Q&A calls after the class ends. So if you've got questions that are a little hard to express in email, you can just get on the conference call, ask your questions, and get your response that way. This is a really cool thing. I don't know anyone else is doing something like this. If being funny and adding humor to your presentations is important to you, then this is the class and webinar that you need to sign up for. So do it now because there's going to be some one-on-one support, some interactivity. The space is limited. So we start Monday, March 31st. Sign up now and let's get started.